Fasten your seatbelts for the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. The Medicare podcast for lazy people of all persuasions. And now proving you can take the boy out of Oklahoma, Medicare expert Doug Jones.
Hello, everybody. This is Doug Jones, Medicare expert, as you just heard the fancy schmancy Canadian announcer say. That's actually my nephew, Drew McMillan, who is looking to break into the American market and become a big-time announcer down here in the States where it's not snowing all the time. And I think he's doing a fine job. I'm very pleased, especially with the low to zero cost that his services come at. So anyway, we talk about Medicare in these podcasts on a regular basis. And helping me do that is my friend and spiritual advisor, Randy Carson.
Doug, how the heck are you today?
Well, I'm leaving Illinois to fly back to Arizona tomorrow morning, so I'm pretty good. I'm happy to be returning back to my spiritual homeland, the land of sunshine and warmth. Warm is it there today?
Oh, it's, let me point it out, very clear skies, sunny skies, 61 degrees, 25% humidity, and wind out of the south-southwest at 6 miles per hour.
You know entirely too much about your own surroundings. That's a little on the anal retentive side, but I'll take it. I'm glad that the weather is going to be cooperating, because here it's actually not that cold for Illinois in January. Normally it's just horrible, but it's been in the 40s. But there hasn't been one hint of sunshine in my memory as long as I've been here, which is close to 4 weeks now.
Well, I was just gonna say, you're probably very anxious to get home to Arizona because you can pull out that vet, take a couple rides around the block, and feel like a human again.
Well, that's true. That's the only thing that makes me feel human is driving around the block in the Corvette. The other thing is you and I will have less of a delay in our crosstalk because we'll only be 4 miles away from each other instead of 1,800 miles.
Yeah, exactly. That's very true.
So we talked about the fact that we want listeners to share any questions, concerns, gripes, or kudos that they have with us. And in lieu of that, I mentioned that readers have been sending me questions during the course of the last year that the 2019 edition of the book has been out. And I've got a stack of questions from readers who have been concerned with 2 or 3 different Medicare topics. And so I thought maybe we could spend the episode just plowing through a few of these questions from readers and hope that some of our listeners will chime in with their own questions. What do you think about that?
I think that works good. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people with similar questions. Don't you think, Doug?
Oh, I think so. And that's probably partly because it's such a confusing, silly, giant mess that Medicare seems to be in most people's minds, that even when they hear the fact, it doesn't really sink in right away. You want to hear it again and again. The message I have to deliver is so simple and so easy to glom onto that a lot of times people want to hear it more than once only because they say, wait a minute, that just can't be right. I've been led to believe by all the TV ads, all of the mail that arrives in my mailbox, all of the phone calls I've gotten. I've been led to believe that this is a horribly complex process to make a decision about Medicare, and that if I screw it up, my life is going to suck completely for the rest of eternity. And my message is that that's just not true. It's not that difficult. It's very simple. Once you have a couple of choices on the table, to pick the right choice for you is fairly simple. So we welcome questions from readers and hopefully from listeners too.
Well, the other part of that, to kind of tag team on there with some of that commentary is that everyone looks at this insurance, Medicare, any kind of insurance really, and says, okay, this is so complicated, I surely can't understand it. It's probably way beyond me. So they just run the other way and never attempt. But on the other hand, when they've got some source of information like Medicare for the lazy man, they can feel more confident that they're making the right decisions for the right reasons. Is there anything in Medicare that is permanent? I mean, if you make a decision this way today, it's going to haunt you for the rest of your life.
That would be a bad thing. The worst thing you can do is not make a decision, because eventually they're going to come after you with fines that will last your lifetime. Indecision, lack of action when it's required, is the worst mistake you can make. Taking action, even if it's not the best action, is always better in Medicare. And frankly, if you follow my direction, then the action that you take will be permanent and will last you forever, won't have to be addressed again unless you want to. So the ball will always be in your court with just a few simple things to remember. But I said, hey, let's find out what readers have asked me about. And so I have a stack of correspondence that I printed out, and I just grabbed some at random. One subject that is very confusing to people is the change in what plans are available under Medicare supplements starting in 2020. So here is a Jody, J, last initial J. Jody writes, what Medigap plan, that's Medicare supplement, Medigap is their nickname for that. I hate that nickname, so I never use it, but you're free to. What Medigap plan do you recommend for 2020 since Plan F is no longer available? Well, that's not entirely true, Jody. What I answered her with was, if you are turning 65 on or after January 1st of 2020, Plan F and high deductible Plan F are definitely not available to you. And I said, in that case, I would choose the new high deductible Plan G, brand new for the first time in 2020. I said, I've only heard the sketchiest details, but it sounds like you will get the most bang for your bucks with that one. The Cadillac alternative would be regular Plan G. So those people who turn 65 on or after January 1st of 2020, Plan G would be the closest to a Cadillac plan, and high deductible Plan G would give you the most bang for your buck. Small monthly premium, but big insurance benefit. And then we have Linda H., who is in Lakeport, California. Linda, and again, I'm just kind of grabbing these off the stack. Linda wrote, Dear Doug, I read your book and thank you so much for writing it, as it clarified so much so quickly. I loved your to-the-point approach. God, what a nice woman. I am wondering if you would be able or interested in quoting me on supplemental Plan F. The agent I had a return call first is taunting. I think what she means is the agent I talked to is touting United American at $217 a month. I did look this company up online and saw some unfavorable customer reviews, but since you may know more about it, blah, blah, blah. And she went to other agents and she had conversation with other people. So basically, and then she gives me her medical history and asked me to call her, where I would love to have the time to call people. Frankly, I can't do it and do the other things that I want to do, which is write the book, promote myself, tend to my personality cult that I'm trying to develop, allow my followers time to worship me. I just can't be calling everybody who would like to chit chat on the phone. So I'm asking these people to send me their questions. But I answered this lady, Linda, I answered her by saying, I'm not able to help you in California at this time. Eventually, I will select a reputable, dependable company to recommend to my friends and readers in California. But that doesn't help solve your dilemma right now. If you are uncomfortable with the agent you contacted because he only deals with one company, I would keep looking for a broker that can represent and sell the products of many insurance companies. Your goal is not just an inexpensive cost, but also a reputable company with stable rates. And once again, that's to buy a Medicare supplement plan, which is her goal. And that's why in the book I recommend Medicare supplement, because once you buy the right plan, you'll probably have it for the rest of your life. John C., where I don't know where he's from, but he asks, which plan is best to replace supplement F? I have read that G is good. And I said, Plan F and HDF are only being taken away from those who become eligible for Medicare on or after January 1st, 2020. Everyone else, everyone older than that, will still be allowed to buy them from the companies that offer them for sale. For those youngsters who will qualify for Medicare in 2020 or later, I would recommend Plan G as a simple and comprehensive choice. My personal recommendation would be the brand new high deductible Plan G, which promises to provide a lot of value for the cost. And then, as I do with everybody else, I put the arm on him. I twisted his arm. I said, if you read my book and found it helpful, I would ask that you go back to Amazon and write a short customer review. It would be helpful to me as well as potential future readers. Thanks very much. Well, he was nice enough to do that. And then Amazon took away that along with the 57 other 5-star reviews. And they say, well, we don't know why that happened. They said it with a foreign accent, of course. And I'm hoping that they'll get it fixed sooner rather than later. But here is one from Elizabeth. She says, Doug, I bought your book yesterday and was blown away by the simplicity of your explanation. I should have crossed out the compliments and just gotten right to her question. But she said, I was thrilled to learn that we only need to choose between the GTO and the Cadillac when my husband retires next year. I just found out that Medicare supplement plans you recommend will no longer be available next year. That's because she read last year's book. She didn't read this year's book. Will you be updating Medicare for the Lazy Man for 2020? Yes, I did, and I have. Medicare for the Lazy Man 2020 is what's on sale at Amazon right now in paperback, Kindle, and soon-to-be audio versions. She said, will you be providing new recommendations as to which plans to purchase? I hope so, and will happily purchase another copy of the book. God bless this woman. Also, thanks for letting me know that I can safely throw out the avalanche of Medicare Advantage propaganda that arrives in our mailbox daily, straight into the trash. I was beginning to get worried that we might have to start attending their presentations to figure this thing out. And so I said, to answer your questions, 1, your husband will be retiring next year, but is a delayed retirement? Did he or will he turn age 65 before January 1st, 2020? If so, he can still enroll in either Plan F, the Cadillac plan, or high deductible Plan F, the Pontiac GTO of Medicare plans, if offered by your insurance company of choice. Those who become eligible for Medicare in 2019 or earlier will always have the right to select those plans, even if they did not enroll in Medicare Part B until 2020 or later. Number 2, if your husband is a youngster that will turn age 65 during the year 2020, the supplements I would suggest are Plan G and the brand new high deductible Plan G, which would be equivalent to the high performance Pontiac GTO of Medicare supplements. Number 3, I am preparing to begin writing Medicare for the Lazy Man 2020. I wrote this a couple of months ago. Just as soon as the government announces their plans for next year, so I can include accurate descriptions of the costs that people will have to pay. Then I said, number 4, how about a review? And then she responded, thanks for your amazingly quick response. My husband will be turning 70 in August of 2020. He wants to maximize his monthly Social Security benefit. And since he is relatively healthy and has a low impact job, it wasn't a problem for him to keep going until age 70. So your email just arrived bearing incredibly good news for us. I've been agonizing over this Medicare decision for months, and now I don't have to worry about it. If I could dance, I'd be doing my happy dance right now. I'll tell you, I kid around a lot, but letters like this really make me feel good. I think I'm finally doing some good for people after casting about most of my life, wondering how I can benefit the human race. If I can make people like Elizabeth C. that happy just by giving some advice that any reputable insurance person should have been able to give to her, then my work is done, at least with Mrs. C. The last of my answer is I probably will, she said, I probably will still purchase the 2020 version of your book when it becomes available, just so I have the most up-to-date information about the subject. I'll definitely write a review and we'll head right over to Amazon and do it right now. I was on there yesterday leaving a 2-star review for the other Medicare sign-up guide that I purchased last week. That was a huge disappointment. But rest assured, your book will be getting the full 5 stars. Boy, this kind of stuff brings tears to my eyes. I don't know. You look like you're a little tearful in there too, Randy. Is it possible that I've touched your heartstrings?
Well, you have. In particular, you mentioned the fact that I don't need to save any of my Medicare Advantage, advertising anymore. So the thing that really occurred to me is that I can use that now to level out a card table problem that I've had for a number of years. So it really struck my heart.
Well, if they had known that when they were sending all that stuff out to you, they might not have wasted all the ink that's on that paper. But boy, that's all that mail that comes in every fall during what people call open enrollments, all Medicare Advantage. And frankly, if I could take a magic wand and point it at people, I would say don't ever buy Medicare Advantage unless you know exactly what you're getting. And boom, the world would be a happier place.
Well, this is certainly a topic for another podcast, but I had a personal friend that unfortunately didn't know you and bought a number of different insurance plans, Medicare Advantage, and a number of different things related to that ultimately he painted himself into a huge corner. So that's a topic for a whole nother podcast, but ultimately, whatever Doug says, you follow Doug and you'll be fine.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your friend, but it's always good to learn from those who are least or less fortunate or who weren't privy to the best information available. So let's definitely make a point of discussing that on a future episode.
Absolutely. And the other thing I was just going to mention is one, to again, ask everyone to write to Doug, ask questions. He's got basically an email queue that we're going to be working through. But
the email address to use is dbj@medicareforthelazyman.com.
Yeah, and most times Doug will probably answer you within the hour. So don't hold him to that. But,
are you implying that I don't have a lot of important, earth-shaking work to do?
Well, you float back and forth between 2 different time zones, so I'm not sure you know what time it is.
Well, the fact that I'm sitting here with my catcher's mitt hoping for another question to come flying off the computer might give you a hint as to how much time I devote to other things.
There you go. Well, I'm going to just kind of wrap this up a little bit. Doug, if you had any final thoughts, let's do that. And
One final thought. Buy the book. Go to Amazon. Go to Barnes & Noble. In Amazon form, you can get paperback, Kindle, or Audible very soon. And on Barnes & Noble, you can get the paperback at a somewhat lower price. I will appreciate it. Leave a review if you like it.
Absolutely. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Log into Amazon and buy Doug's book today, Medicare for the Lazy Man 2020. And if you've got the 2019 version, it's worth the upgrade. So thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We certainly appreciate your time, and we know you could spend it elsewhere, too, and we appreciate you joining us. So, again, thanks from me, and thanks from Doug. And, Doug, do you have any final comments? And then we'll sign off.
My final comment is live long and prosper. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time for sure.
Thanks, everybody.